Okay, so Dr. Matt, you were telling me your practice increased 40 visits in what, the last 4 weeks or 6 weeks?
About 6 weeks.
Okay, so 6 weeks. So you'd been in practice. Let's be clear. So you've been in practice for about a year, right? Prior to joining our patient education and consulting, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So you were stuck at 10 visits a week, right?
Yes, I was.
Okay, that's not a good, and you knew that was not a good situation.
No, not at all.
I mean, you were struggling financially, right?
Yes, I
Okay.
was.
All right. So you joined the program, the patient education, and I told you, didn't I? I said, as soon as you do this and you do it right, I said this thing's going to double and triple in 60 to 90 days. Did I not tell you that?
Yes, you did.
I did. Okay. So you learned our patient education. In other words, you learned how to control, lead, communicate with a patient, put it out there where they understood what they were getting, that their care was based on the three phases of healing and the biomarkers. And all that made sense to you, didn't it?
Yeah, it does. It makes perfect sense.
I mean, that's how people heal, right?
That's right.
And so I just shared with you how to communicate it with the patient to where they understood it very simply, right?
Yes, that's you do.
Okay. And then we shared with you, so it was easy for them to say yes for all three phases of care. And then we shared with you how to handle money, right? How to take the total money, break it into terms to make it affordable for the patients, didn't we?
Yes,
And you're getting patients to prepay for care now, aren't you?
I am.
And that's like crazy compared to what you were doing, right?
Yeah, absolutely crazy. It went from a patient problem to now how do I properly train staff and have the right procedures? And that's kind of where I'm at now.
Okay.
So a lot of different problems.
Okay. Well, you got good problems because everything's shooting up fast, which is good. Okay. So let's go into a couple of these. Number one, so you increased at 40 visits a week at a $50 per visit in 52 weeks. You just increased your business $104,000 a year in 6 weeks. Do you realize that?
Yeah, I do. I'm pretty happy about it.
Matt, you're going to be able to move out of your dad's basement. You're going to be able to buy your own home, buy your own car, and you're going to be able to help your dad. That's what's
Yeah.
that's what's going to start happening. Okay, now you were smart the way you started. You went into two rooms, so you didn't get into a big office or anything.
Nope.
Got two small rooms to really keep your overhead down. You stayed with your parents, but things didn't take off because you didn't know how to run a practice, right?
Yep. I mean, I knew how to adjust, I knew how to clinically diagnose, but controlling and leading patients is it's different with the business mindset. Yep.
Okay, so you learn how to do all the patient education. And by the way, that whole increase was all only from patient education. None of it was for marketing, was it?
No.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay. So now you have a different problem. So you didn't have any employees. You had two rooms. So you start, which was fine to start with. You start keeping patients, but you can only see about 40 patient visits a week without an employee to answer the phone, schedule appointments during industrial hours, because you got to be able to start scheduling people kind of back to back or on top of each other, right?
Mhm.
So you're going to have a space problem, aren't you?
Yes.
And I'll talk to you about that because usually a doctor can only see 40 to 60 visits a week, and 60 is like the real high end if you're unbelievably efficient. It's usually only about 40 when you're just treating by yourself and you're doing everything. That's it. Because it's called industrial hours. Patients come in. When they come in, you can't just spread them out through the day.
Mhm.
They're coming in after work, so you may have to schedule two or three people at the same time because they get off work at 5 o'clock, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So you increase your business $104,000 in 6 weeks. You're definitely coming up fast. Profitability's coming up, everything. Probably feeling pretty good about the direction of your practice right now, aren't you?
Yes. Yeah. I feel a lot more confident and I feel excited about the future.
Yeah. And it shows when we interact with your when we hear your patients with your training and all that, you've got a lot more authority. You got a lot more confidence. I mean, everything is just going in your direction. And I got to tell you, Matt, and it's all because of you. I mean, you took the system, but if you wouldn't have applied the system, it would. Can you see how if you wouldn't have applied the system, if you're the Perry chick, it wouldn't have worked?
Yeah, 100%. And you don't need to start a practice with an X-ray machine. The way you describe things and the way you help guide other doctors to guide the patients, really brings confidence to a lot. And what I will say, what really helped a lot is by just sending in the videos and also getting feedback from all the other doctors that join us on the call.
Yeah. In other words,
Yeah,
the training.
of
Okay.
course.
Yeah. But my point that I was saying is you were diligent. You actually studied it and you applied it. You didn't sit on it and you didn't modify it and change it. You work, in other words, you worked the system.
I
Okay.
did.
And which was good because you were highly motivated, after being out for a year, seeing 10 visits a week, that's enough to motivate anybody. So the good news is you actually applied the system diligently. You learned it, applied it, and how quickly did it work for you?
Uh, Very fast.
Well, did you even believe it would work this fast?
Uh, mm, no, not really. I mean, I hear it and I hear testimonies and it seems crazy, but sorry about that.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
it was very fast.
But well, what I wanted to share with you is you actually did it. So you put the effort in, you learned it, you trained it, and so good for you. Okay, so now you got a whole nother problem facing you, don't you? So
Yeah.
we're not having when we're reviewing your information, you're doing pretty good. But the problem we're going to have now is space and labor. So now you have to hire somebody. So you answer the phone, process people, so you can schedule multiple people at the same time. But you're going to have a space problem now.
Yeah.
See? And remember, I told you, I said we need to get you up to about 60 visits a week, profitability, and then move you out into a regular size office. A normal office is about 1,400 square feet, give or take 200 square feet. You can have three full-time doctors in 1,400 square feet if it's laid out right.
Mm.
Okay. And that's what you always want to plan for. You always want to plan for having one or two associate doctors so you can actually take time off and enjoy your life down the road, right?
Right.
Okay. All right. So you did a good job. It's coming up, but now you've hit another glass ceiling. So then you hired somebody, right?
Yes, I still have my girlfriend helping me at the front.
Okay. So she's helping you full-time or part-time, just mainly during the industrial hours.
Yes, correct.
Okay, fine. All right. And you can go up to that point and you can have a part-time person from about 40 to about 100 visits a week, depending on, how many therapies you do and your layout and all that. But you really need to go to a full-time person once you get up to around 60 plus visits a week. A full-time person will take you up to about 120, 130 patient visits a week. So it's better to it's better to pull the trigger to go to a full-time person because you'll jump up faster. But
Mhm.
if financially it's not in the picture, then what you would do is just hire a part-time person during the industrial hours, right? Because that will help you to get it up to about 100 visits a week. And then you would definitely need a full-time person. Can you see that?
I can.
Okay, so that's where you're at. But the labor is not the issue right now. So space and labor and equipment those are the issues right now because you're actually keeping patients now.
Yeah,
So we got a space problem now, we
we
got a
do.
labor problem, and we got an equipment problem because you only have one therapy unit, one therapy station. Which
Hmm.
see, so you're in a whole different problem with your practice where when you started with me, space wasn't the problem, labor wasn't. See, 10 visits a week is easy out of one room with no staff, right? So none of space, labor, equipment was a problem at all.
No.
Your knowledge was the problem. Your lack of knowledge and skill were the problem.
Hmm.
See that? What
Yep,
you've changed that. So you've increased your knowledge and skill. The practice has shot up. Now you've run into a totally different problem because you're going to keeping patients, but now what's going to limit you? You don't have enough space to see them. You don't have the labor to help you. And soon
I
as
don't.
that happens, you just capped your practice. They're not going to wait around for you. You know that, right?
I do.
Yeah. So you got to be able to you understand you got to be able to get them in and get them out, right?
Yes, I do.
Which means you got to have the space, the labor, and you got to have multiple therapy stations. So you can schedule 2, 3, 5, 10 people at the same time, and they can
Mm-hmm.
all come in, not wait. And if you're with somebody, if you're with a patient, they can go on therapy, right?
Yep, and I prefer that. I mean, and I have about I believe 6 more months on this lease, so I don't know how
I'll talk.
that's
I'll
gonna
talk to
work.
you about that. I'll talk to you about that.
Sure.
I just wanted to point out that you didn't just double your practice and triple your practice. You went from 10 to 40 visits a week with no more increase in new patients. You increased your business over $100,000 a year in 6 weeks. Good for you. Good for you. You deserve it.
Thanks, Paul.
You deserve it because you put the effort in to learn it and apply it. And look how, by the way, last question.
Sure.
Look how much better patient care you're giving now.
Definitely.
Tell me you're not giving good patient care because now your therapies are based, on the inflammation phase, the repair phase, and the remodel phase, and the patient's biomarkers. Tell me that's not way better care than what you were doing.
No, I'm giving absolutely quality service.
Right. Everything's
Absolutely.
right. And you deserve it. You put the effort in. Your patients are getting better care, and you're making it affordable for them, and you're not wasting their time. Is that not a fact?
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. I just wanted to share that with whoever's listening to this because there's a lot of doctors out there that are struggling and kind of like you. I'm just kind of curious. Why did you wait so long? Why did you go a year before you go, man, I need help?
Uh, because I was an ignorant young doc. I thought I could handle the world by myself, but
So
you
you
know,
you
yeah.
thought it was eventually going to come up.
What was that?
You thought your patient visits were eventually going to come up.
Well, I didn't know what to think.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
I didn't know what to
do you
think.
remember at what point after you started your practice,
Sure.
you were stuck at 10 visits a week? Do you remember how long, how many months it was before you go, oh man, I got a problem here?
When I first joined you, I was actually working with another doc in his practice, and so I opened up this practice, my own, this last May. And I remember seeing one of your patient retention seminars in Florida, I believe in July, and I wasn't able to make that one. And so after seeing you give a live presentation in Austin, I believe it was the same time, about July. I just saw how I saw you in person. I saw how influential you are with attorneys and other doctors, and that's when I knew that, yeah, I had to go with you. I had to, learn.
Is that the point you realized that you didn't know what you were doing and you needed to learn how to do patient education?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Got it. All right. Anyway, appreciate your time.
Yeah. Think about.